If I were to start 9th grade and my goal was to get into the Ivy League, this is exactly what I do. Now that I have admissions officer training and I help students get into a dream school, I'm making this video to scream at my younger self the things I wish I'd known going into high school. So I'm going to show you the only 4 things you need to focus on as an incoming freshman if getting into a top school is your top priority. If you only focus on these right now and stop stressing about everything else, I can guarantee you'll be giving yourself the best possible shot. Most students waste years doing things that don't actually matter but seem impressive. I know because I did it. Here's how I do it differently. So the first thing I do is pick a direction early. This is completely against what most people will tell you. Like, yes, you're just getting into high school. Why do I need to pick my major or my direction? Well, I like to compare it with choosing a starter Pokemon. You're not locked into that choice forever, right? You can change, you can catch new Pokemon later, you can evolve, you can grow, you can explore. But that first choice shapes how you play the early game. It gives you structure, momentum, and direction, while everyone else is still stuck in the loading screen. You will have an advantage. So because of this, choose your starter Pokemon. Choose a tentative career path now. It doesn't have to be your ending career path. And you don't need to marry it, right? You still have a lot of options later, and in the meantime, at least it will give you a direction and will make sure that you're following one path. And later, if you deviate, it will be for a reason, right? You'll know where you're going and it'll make sense, so no problem. But at least you need a starting direction so you can go forward step by step. If you still are undecided on what to do, you can't even start moving forward. Also, one of the things that will happen here is that colleges want clarity and a path. If you are able to stick with one thing since the beginning, that shows a lot about who you are. Colleges know that greatness takes time. And eventually, in one point of your career, you'll need to invest tons of time into your passions if you want to become the best or you truly want to be exceptional. If when you apply to college, you are able to demonstrate them that ever since you were in 9th grade, you are already working towards your goals and you stick to your path and kept trying to grow however you could, that will show so much about who you are and it will give you such good character traits that they really won't want to reject you. And look, it's easier said than done. But if you at least try, you will begin to move forward and more opportunities will come. Like, you will have a projection, you'll start working, you'll start maybe a project, talking with some people in 9th grade. But worst case scenario, you don't want to do that, but more opportunities open up because you explored. And having one path or at least one idea of what you want to do will open those other paths. If we compare this to something like climbing a mountain, right? You have a bunch of paths maybe that you can begin. But as soon as you choose one and you walk that path, you will see new paths to get to the top. You won't be able to see these ones, maybe because they are behind the mountain, but you need to choose a path to at least find them. So in my opinion, this is the first thing you should do. Now, for the second thing you should do, you should start to build a personal brand. Applying to college is basically just marketing. You need to be a product that college admissions officers want to buy. That's really what it is. And they have a limited budget, so they can't really accept all that many people. They can just choose what they want. And they won't buy the same thing twice. It's like the admissions office is going shopping every single day that they turn on their computer. So you need to be a product they'll buy. And as I said, this is extremely important, they won't buy the same thing twice. You need a personal brand and you need to be unique. You need to be a one-of-a-kind product. And I know it's not pretty to say you need to be a product because you won't be a product. Like, you're a human and they will think of you as a human. I'm not trying to say that you're just an object. But I feel like this framework really helps understand a little bit of the thought process behind everything. And the best way to build a personal brand is to start by doing one thing that aligns with your interest. It could be YouTube, research, community project, whatever. But you need to focus. As I said, greatness takes time and you need to prove that you're willing to focus on one thing for at least a couple of years in high school. If you're able to do that, imagine what you will be able to do at 20, 30, 40 years old. That's really what they're looking for. And again, it could be anything and you need to be interested in this. This is extremely important because you have to live high school. You have to live high school. You have to do stuff you want to do. Don't just sacrifice your life for college admissions. That doesn't make sense. And it will make your application worse because you won't be motivated. That's why I added things like YouTube. Like, this is actually pretty important. If they look up your name on Google and they see you have a YouTube channel and you've been uploading videos and you're passionate about something, that's pretty cool. And you can start that today. Again, worst case scenario, it fails, you try something else later. No problem. And after you choose the only thing you'll be doing for this year at least, then you will document everything you do. This is mainly for two reasons. So first of all, is your essays in the future. You'll have things to talk about in your essays. You have documented everything. It will be easier for you. Like, you'll be really grateful you did this in 9th grade when you were in 12th. And the second reason is that you will know yourself better. And the main reason that this really matters in your application is that knowing yourself will help you make smarter choices down the line. If you know what you want, it will be way easier to see where you're going and what you want to do. Making plans is hard, but if you know what you want, it's way easier. Also, for the essays, which are still connected, like, you'll be getting stories that you'll be talking about, and through them, you'll be able to portray more of your personality. If you know yourself, you'll have a way richer personality that you can show to colleges. And you'll have a clearer way of knowing how to show them, because you're only as good as you can communicate. And if you know yourself, you'll be way better at communicating who you are than someone who doesn't. And again, with the activity you'll be doing and with the documentation, you will stick to it. Achievement equals time multiplied by consistency. If there's a formula for greatness, it's this. Stick to your stuff. If you don't stop, you can't lose. This is kind of like business in a way, where the goal of business isn't to win. There's no like finish line. You win at business by staying in business. This is kind of the same thing. You win on your college application by staying on your growth path. There's no finish line, because the idea of your college application is to show that you'll continue that path later, and college will just help propel you forward. There's something else that I really wanted to explain, which is that Harvard last year got a lawsuit. And in that lawsuit, they revealed the system that they use to give scores to students. And they use a scale from 1 to 6. 1 being world class and 6 being pretty bad. And they give a score for things like academics, sports, personality, extracurriculars, and other things. And one of the craziest things that came out of this lawsuit is the fact that people that had an overall rating of 2 had a 65% acceptance rate, when at the same time, people that had an overall score of 3 only had a 2.4% acceptance rate. This is almost a 30x multiplier on the acceptance rate, just by having one more point in the scale. If you want to get a 2 on your overall score, you need to focus on a couple of things. So for example, for academics, a 1 means basically winning an international math Olympiad. That's just for academics. For extracurriculars, it could be an extremely successful business, things like that. And those things, again, take time. So you need to build 1 or 2 of these things max. You won't be able to build more. And that will give you such an advantage that you might as well just 30x your chances of getting into Harvard. Now, the third thing you should do is network, 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 keep networking, fight networks. Anything related to networking, you should be doing that. And I just highlighted it like a billion times because I need you to get this into your DNA now. Yes, it is point number 3, but it's probably still the most important one, and you need to be networking. In essence, colleges, especially the top ones, are just 4-year networking events. And because of this, they need you to be able to network and be social. They want you to build the next Facebook, and you can only do that by networking. Now, how do you start doing this right now? Well, there are a couple of ways to do it, but first of all, you should meet people and find opportunities actively. If you have an opportunity to meet someone new, or to start an activity with someone else, or to, talk with whatever expert from your area that you want to study, do it. 85% of all jobs and internships are filled through personal or professional networks. 85%. You need to get in there. You need to find those networks and find those people that you can end up building stuff with. And they don't have to be experts, they could just be other high schoolers like you. And networking is so important that we literally built College Connect, our counseling program, around it. Like, for example, if you scroll down right here, you have Eduardo, for example. He wants to study aerospace engineering, and he has a ton of projects. He's applying to college this year, actually. And if you are going to study aerospace engineering later in the future, you could just, talk with someone like this and participate as a volunteer in their programs, be a part of the team. Someone like him would love to connect with someone like you that wants to help them. Like, why wouldn't they? And they are looking actively for stuff like this. Like, we've had students that have built projects together with other people over here, and it really helps their applications. And again, you can connect with people older than you, same age as you, whatever you need. But finding those opportunities and meeting those people is exactly what you should be looking to do. So go out there, text people, email them, connect with them on LinkedIn, whatever you need. But go and do it, because it will open so many opportunities for you, it's crazy. And something else that's really underrated over here are personal networks, like family or friends. 9 times out of 10, if you just talk to your family, they'll have connections with someone else that can give something to you. 9 times out of 10. Just go and try it. Maybe sit down, have a conversation, just brainstorm about things that you can figure out, and probably you'll find something. And the other thing you can do is not only network with peers, but also find mentors and get feedback early. Again, this could be your family. This could be a specific teacher in high school that you are starting to build a good relationship with. Whatever. Find mentors and get feedback from experts. Try to not make the same mistakes other people did before. And that's also one of the reasons that College Connect is built this way. So older people that are just about to apply to college can tell you the mistakes they did so you don't repeat them. You don't need to join College Connect though for this, like literally you could just talk to anyone. Maybe right now that you're going to high school, it could be really scary, I know, but you could come up to a 12th grader and ask them how they did it and more details. Probably a lot of them would be really happy to tell you. Yes, it is really scary to network and meet new people, especially if it's older people or 12th graders, like they're pretty scary, but it is worth it. And the fourth and last thing that you should be doing is making strategic bets. So what I mean by this is trying high risk, high reward things early. For example, practicing for an Olympiad, international Olympiad, or international hackathon or competition. Preparing for those, trying it out, see how you do. It is a lot of work, it is a lot of risk, right? Because you're investing a lot of your time and you don't even know if you're gonna succeed. But again, you're just in 9th grade. A lot of people that get into Ivy Leagues start taking it serious in 10th or 11th grade. This means that worst case scenario, you fail, and then you can try again next year and start from scratch, and it will not hurt your chances. Literally, there's zero pressure and you can only win. There's a big upside and there's no actual risk. Like it is usually high risk, high reward, but here it's no risk, high reward. Like it's literally just a win-win situation for you. And there is zero pressure. No one else is doing this. You have no competition. It's you and yourself. And if you have a competition, you have to think that if this is hard, it means that a lot of people give up here and you need to keep going. And I know you're capable of doing it, but you need to have that mindset so that you don't stop and you keep going. And it'll actually be way more fun than you expect. And again, worst case scenario, you fail, you start next year, but these will unlock experiences in those events, in those activities you're doing. If you're building a business, you will meet new people, you will network, you will start building a personal brand, and you'll be choosing your direction and having a clearer path. It all connects. This whole thing is really for you to aim to the stars, and worst case scenario, you land in a cloud. And just so you know the power of actually reaching the stars, so you know that it's actually worth it, on the same Harvard scale that I mentioned earlier, if you end up getting rated a 1, you have a 100% acceptance rate. So if you end up winning an international Olympiad and build a successful business or project, you will be labeled a 1 and you will get in, statistically, which is insane. And yes, it is really hard, but the only real way to do this is starting early and going all in. In 12th grade, you will be extremely grateful that you started right now. Can't wait to see you achieve your dreams.